Hey Deku Fam!
Hey Deku Fam!
Welcome back to our channel.
Welcome.
We're back with another video and we're here on the last part of the series.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's over.
Guys, for those of you who've just tuned in, we've been doing a series called I Am Married,
Now What?
Because we've had loads of people asking this question. They're about to enter into marriage and they're like, you know, what is the sex like?
Yeah.
How do we live together? How do we deal with the in-laws? So we've done a series answering just that.
Yes, we've got 4 parts in this series.
Yeah.
Part 1 was about the
living together.
Part 2 was about
the in-laws.
Part 3
money.
And now we're talking about sex. Let's talk about sex,
baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about anyway. So guys, sex is one of those things that is a taboo subject.
Literally.
And we just thought we'd just shed some light on it, okay?
You know, Gabes and Anna are always here giving you the real
deal. Exactly.
We're going to give you the detail about...
Not that detail.
Okay, not that much detail. But we already did a sex series, so if you haven't watched that, check it out below, where we break it up into the reasons why we waited, how we waited, and what sex is like in marriage.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about the things that you need to understand between each other when it comes to sex.
Yes. So the first thing that you and your husband or you and your wife need to do is actually talk about your experiences of sex.
And this is beyond the amount of people that you've had sex with. Oh my gosh,
it's not just about the body count.
Exactly.
You know?
People ask the really surface questions. How many people do you sleep with? And then that's it.
Okay.
But we need to dig a bit deeper, okay?
Way deeper.
Way deeper. Because sex is not just about the physical act of lovemaking. It's actually got to do with what you've seen and what you've heard.
100%. So that starts all the way back from, you know, the household that you were brought up in. What was the ideology of the house around sex? Because every house has one, whether they say it or not.
Was it a household that actually spoke about sex freely, or was it a household where it was kind of hush-hush?
Yeah.
So if it spoke about freely within the household, I think that you're able to gain a real understanding of what sex is from a healthy perspective. But if your parents are like, shh, don't talk about sex, then you end up going looking for an understanding, and then you're confronted with popular culture and the playground talk.
Yeah, 100%. And then also your church environment, you know, that has a big fact to play in how we view sex. You know, some churches are always like, no, sex is bad, sex is not good.
God is gonna kill you if you have sex.
And you'll just have this fearful thing around sex, and then when you get married, it's like, oh, now sex is good. And it's so hard to change your mindset.
Exactly, because you still have the fear when you get into marriage. So, but then there's other churches that preach a great message, which is like, sex is amazing, sex is good, sex was created by God, 100%. But it was created for the covenant of marriage, and then explain the whole understanding. Then you understand a healthy perspective of what sex is. And
then society, of course, is always up in your face, up in your grill, trying to tell you how you should be having sex, that you need to rush into sex,
the
like
movies.
You can have one night stands, you can do all this stuff, and then it's like romanticized, and it's this exotic thing, and it's just like, oh my gosh, there's so many things trying to come at us and affects what we think about sex.
And what about the relationships that we have seen?
Have
we seen people who are going in and out of relationships, having sex casually? Or have we seen people who waited until they got married, and then when they got married, they were faithful to one person? Again, this has shaped how we think about sex. So when you're going into marriage, beyond the body count, we have to be able to understand what our partner has been able to see, and then have a conversation about it.
Because if you're on different views when it comes to sex, that's going to cause unrealistic expectations, different expectations as well from what sex is going to be like in marriage. And that's part of the complications. It's not the actual physical act, it's what's your mindset before you do the act. And I think sometimes it's so easy to come at it completely differently. So why not talk about it? I don't understand.
And even with this whole Harvey Weinstein scenario that's been going on, people have actually come from very traumatic experiences when it comes to sex. So it's important to talk about those things and understand the triggers so that you're able to work together to overcome those difficult situations.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, sex is something that you're going to experience together. And sometimes you haven't even had the deep conversations around, you know, what have you been through when it comes to sex, you know? How will it actually feel with me touching your body? Because you've had someone touch your body in the most inappropriate way. So it's like all of these conversations need to be had in marriage. It's more complicated than we could ever imagine. And I think conversations need to begin.
We all have a sexual experience, whether you're a virgin or whether you're not. But we need to be able to talk about it so that we can say, okay, what does this look like for us?
The next thing that you need to do is discuss your expectations of sex. This is something that we were just off with,
this is what we failed
we failed in this area. Our expectation, you know me guys, I'm a talker, you know.
Yeah.
So I was just like, it's gonna go down on the wedding night. You know, you ain't ready, my G. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah.
My body's just gonna blow your mind and all of this stuff and blah blah blah. And then what happened?
What actually happened?
Expectations versus reality.
Yeah, it was awkward, it was painful, and it ended in tears.
I was so upset. I was like, what's going on, babe? What's going on? And I was just so tense, like.
Yeah, I was so scared. Yeah. And then I came in like, where is it? Where is it?
I remember just like us being in the hotel room and I just turned away and I was like, no. And I just didn't do that. I just got to the corner. I don't like this.
Yeah.
I'm just so sad and just, oh man. Yeah, so but you guys need to watch our sex video.
Yeah.
That sounds like a porn, but no, just our video where we talk about our first time.
Yeah.
Where we actually break it down for you guys. But expectations are a killer, aren't they?
Definitely a killer. So I think that your expectations should be developed as you have sex over like a couple of months. So you start to understand what is working, what is not working, like how much is too much. You know, do you want quantity over quality? Or, I don't know.
Quantity over quality. Very important, I think.
No, but you know, like the length of time versus just the quick, like let's just go.
Oh yeah.
But you have more frequent.
That's actually a very good point. You know, actually we're different in that as well. Yeah. Yeah. So you need to have these kind of conversations about, you know.
I think I like both quantity and quality.
Yeah, you do actually. You see it all the time, anywhere, any time, any place. Yeah. So I think those discussions are really important to have. The expectations.
Definitely.
You know, some couples don't even talk about what is a good amount of time to have sex in a week. There's a conversation that people are not having. I think it's important to have.
And then you have unmet expectations, then you have resentment, then you have someone's angry, and then you got passive aggressiveness, which I get sometimes. I ain't getting none. What's going on? But like literally understanding like what turns your partner on, what are the triggers? Okay, I will admit that I used to be the one that had just had expectation that you're just gonna be there without warming Anna up, with like the constant text messages and stuff like that in the early days. I just thought,
rub, you know, you just gotta.
I just thought if I'm on, you're feeling the heat too. But like ladies, it takes a long time to warm them up. And like for example, I think men need to also understand like how are the women like feeling about themselves, because I think it helps me so much in the bedroom activities when I'm in sex. Oh God.
Yeah. Sex. Yeah, we said it. Mom, I know you're watching sex.
I love your mum. I like your mum. I love my mum too. But yeah, like it's important to be able to warm your partner up by like. And if Anna's not feeling herself, that's my problem because I haven't been able to affirm her. So it's important for me to affirm her so that she actually starts feeling good about herself, you know?
I think, especially your love language, like my love language is words.
Yes, a lot of words.
Yeah, you know, words in the bedroom as well. So we'll have that conversation like, babe, you know, tell me more. Talk about how good I'm looking. Talk about what you're liking. Talk about what you're not liking.
Exactly.
So, you know, communication is important in the bedroom as well. So it's like all of these conversations, what are your expectations? What does good look like to you? Because good looks different to each of us. And we'll take it in turns like, babe, it's your night tonight.
Amen.
We're going to do what you want to do, you know? And the same way, otherwise, 100%. You know, babe, it's your night tonight. So these conversations, I think, especially if you're looking at your experience of sex prior, if your parents or church or no one talks about sex and then all of a sudden you're here meant to talk about it, that can be a long journey.
And then the only expectation that you have is like movies or if you had sex in the past, you're trying to have sex with like your partner, with this partner. It's completely off.
Literally. So guys, I think setting expectations is very important. Having realistic expectations and not having the expectations too high for that first time. Warm yourself up into it, you know, and take it easy and just realize that it's a journey, it's a marathon.
Just kiss on your wedding day and then you just aim to kiss, and then anything beyond that, it's a bonus. Yeah,
because there's so much that could come into play on that night. But yeah, so I hope that helps. Another thing to understand when it comes to sex is that it's for the pleasure of both the husband and the wife.
I'll be honest. I was very selfish. It wasn't about Anna, it was about me. It was about me. Because of the feeling and, you know, the arousal and everything, you get a bit excited. And then I almost forgot, like, you just neglect. I'm not even gonna lie. It was, like, but now,
Yeah, we seek to serve each other, don't we? In sex as well. And sometimes you can, you know, serve your spouse in loads of different areas, you know, with food, with love, with everything. But you need to serve your spouse in the bedroom as well. And I think when you both seek to serve one another, your needs are met, aren't they?
You find a happy medium. For example, with the expectations of sex, like Anna desires it a little bit less. I desire a bit more. So I am trying to be mindful of initiating less. So and Anna's trying to be mindful of initiating more. And then we're able to find a happy medium where we, again, our expectations are not unmet, but we're just trying to be able to, you know, serve each other in that. And I just respect that she desires it less and not be like, oh, what's wrong with you, blah, blah, blah.
And because of that, I think I am doing my own work in trying to desire sex more. And I'm trying to work out, okay, what would help me desire sex more? Is it my understanding of sex? Is it my, you know, view of Gabes? Is it my view of myself? That is the big one. Is it tired? What am I going around with? Am I just tired? Okay, how can I make sure that I reserve some energy for sex because I want to serve my man? There's so much to it, and it's like, I really honor you and I really want to serve you in the bedroom as well, not just in every other area. So I'm just like, okay, right, how can I, you know, do other things?
I can play my part in that as well. So if I see that Anna is tired as well, because sometimes you can put so much expectation on your partner just to kind of perform or whatever, and if they're tired, then I actually should take the responsibility to help her out as well. Like where she's lacking in certain areas, I can do my part to help her. You know, you want to make sure that the whole journey is a smooth sailing.
And sometimes he'll like help me in the, not help me, but he will come home and instead of just sitting down, he'll actually do up the house. I'm like, okay, you're trying to warm something up.
So we can have an early night.
Tired, you know, so we can get to bed early. And I think planning for sex as well is something that people overlook. Like we can sometimes plan for sex so it can be like a full-on experience for a couple of hours, you know. Anyway, so that all of that stuff I think helps us serve one another in sex.
Because if we just leave it to our own devices, like we're naturally selfish people, we're just gonna get what we want to get, and then we're gonna be like, oh, forget you. Plus our schedules are so busy, and if we're not planning to have sex, then we might not actually have it. Like, sometimes there's an expectation that when you're married, it just happens.
And the person's meant to just know.
Exactly. But because of the busyness of life, sometimes it actually doesn't happen for some people. So we will say plan and seek to please each other.
100%. And I think part of that is through evaluation of sex. Like actually,
get real technical
afterwards, just being like, babe, how did that
feel?
Babe,
how did that go?
No. Like, literally, I think it's important. Not every single time, obviously. It's not some kind of, you know, evaluation form. But I'm
exam.
Like, oh, babe, that was good, right? Yeah. Okay. what was it that made that time, like, so, you know? And it's just like, oh, it was that thing that you did. It's like,
okay, I get you.
I get you.
I want to do that again.
Next time. And discovering each other's spots, you know? That's important too. 100%. And I think that's something that
Let's get real technical now.
Sorry.
Get a little bit awkward.
You want a sex course? Give us your details and we'll, you know, do that somewhere. Anyway. No, but yeah, it's important. And the fourth and last thing that we all need to remember when it comes to sex is that the marital bed should not be defiled, right?
That basically is translation for keep the relationship of sex pure.
Sacred.
You just told them.
I know.
Keep it sacred, keep it pure, keep it holy, all that good stuff. So what does it look like, okay? For example, we don't watch pornography. Because we've realized that when it comes to porn, it distorts your mindset. It creates this fantasy that Anna is never going to fulfill because these people are acting. And I'm comparing these actresses and actors to real life, and it's just not fair. And all that means two things can either happen. I'm either going to try and believe the lie and go and look for it elsewhere, or I'm going to be in a relationship and just suppress and then feel like my needs are not being met because I'm living in this fantasy world.
And I think it just distances the intimacy that we could have because, you know, you're going to get your desires met elsewhere, and for us it's really important that our desires are met by each other because it keeps us closer to each other and it just gets rid of unrealistic expectations.
And there is times when Anna and I are apart and then you start to feel the heat, but I think that is a good opportunity because it just shows you that you're kind of craving your partner, and I don't think you need to do anything with it. Just embrace it and then you kind of desire your partner, and I just think it's as simple as that. I think God has it's not like the feelings we have are bad. It's just like, let them be towards your partner.
Yeah, there's a time and there's a place for those feelings, right? And I think for us, it's really important that, you know, we practice self-control. And I think part of the reason why we waited to have sex until marriage, obviously, is because the Bible says it. But it's the practicing self-control. So now in marriage, when the desire does come, like,
and we are not there
together, then we know that we can practice self-control. I can trust that Gabes will be away from me and he's not going to be watching porn or doing whatever. He's actually going to be practicing self-control. So I think, you know, we can control our bodies, we can control those desires that come, and we can say, no, we're going to put them to death right now, and we're going to, you know, put them in submission to God.
Definitely.
And his word.
And the also thing that we don't do, we don't believe in committing adultery. We don't believe in polygamy, what's it called? Poly relationships, which is basically having more people in your relationship than one. We don't believe in going out to get little something, you know, in Amsterdam or whatever, and then coming back to your spouse. We don't believe in that at all.
No.
Our sex is something that we enjoy between each other.
Yeah, this is the only thing that we can do in marriage that you can't do with anyone else. You can communicate with other people. You can, you know,
you can go for dinner.
You can do all this stuff. You can have but sex is something that is preserved for just a husband and a wife. And I think it's important for us to honour that, and we put barriers in place so that we honour that.
Barriers?
Literally.
Come on.
Gabe's barriers are just extreme, to be honest. But
man, I've just seen a lot of men fall. And I'm not going to be a mug. If I see people just out here dropping off the wayside, I'm like, there's something going on in the air.
And they might have good intentions, that's the thing, but maybe the barriers weren't strict enough to stop you getting in close proximity with someone of the opposite sex. And it just happened. Like, good men do fall. Exactly. So you can't be prideful and think that, oh, I would never.
It's never. I think as soon as you say, it will never happen to me, mate, you are too close to death.
Literally. We stay far away. And that's the reason Gabe's trying not to respond to DMs. You know, he's very strict. And I really appreciate that and I respect that. And I think, you know, that is how we keep the marital bed pure for us, is by, you know, not being distracted by, you know, people of the opposite sex, by not being distracted by anything outside of a relationship, and trying to make marriage so sacred to just us two and our relationship. And I think that's something that we all need to do in marriage, and we all need to really protect our spouse. Yeah,
because that intimacy, once it's broken, like, and your trust is broken, like, it's gonna be so hard to get it back. It doesn't mean you can't get it back, but why would you just put yourself a million miles behind and have to work all the way again? Like, it's just long.
It's hard. And I think we've done so much work to get the trust to this point, and I think that is important for us to keep that sacred.
Because I can't imagine, like, the way that this one, like, the way she's so emotional, I just cannot imagine just having to just try and work, you know. You guys have heard the story, like, I had to wait 6 months to even get on the first date, okay? Now, if I go and commit stupidness, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to have to do just to build the trust again? So, I'm just not on it.
And we're accountable as well, like, we're accountable to the people around us.
Yeah, we're accountable to you guys.
You guys as well. So all of these are barriers to stop us. Even if, you know, we're in a bad place, our accountability will stop us.
Our family. Like, it's not just about you at the end of the day.
I know, our children.
Our children to come. Friends and family, again, you guys, like everything. You know, everything.
And we're not saying that it can't be repaired if that does happen, but it's just like we are choosing now to keep the marital bed pure, and we will do that through not watching porn, through trying not to cheat, through, you know, not lusting with our eyes, all of those things. And it's just like, it's possible, we can do it. So guys, that was a deep video.
Yes, but we enjoyed it.
We enjoyed. We hope you guys learned something from it as well. I hope you enjoyed this series. We're moving on to the next one. And guys, we're gonna have healthy relationships.
Amen. We're gonna have healthy sex lives.
Yes, we are. We're gonna have healthy living conditions as well. We're gonna have healthy, what are all the others that we talked about.
It's gonna be healthy.
Yes, we love you, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye.
Peace.